This video is about a comment that I got on one of the red dots, to which at the rock 1902, well, I'll just assume it's not the rock that we all know of, Mr. Juiced Out himself. He writes, I mean, definitely not a chick, right? I have this problem with red dot. You zero them, then you go on a car ride, then bam, out of zero with every red dot. Why? In his experience, it happened with Holosun, Trigicon, and now the Cylee optic. All have gone out of zero with some minimal amount of transport or carry. Let's test that. First things first, target set up. We're going to get a baseline, make sure our optic is zero, and then we will go from there. So, let's test our zero. So here we are at 15 yards with our Bear Creek Arsenal Cylee optic on top. We got 115 grain 9mm American Eagle full metal jacket, 5 rounds. See what kind of group we can get as our baseline. What happens when you ride the wrong button there? Whoa. Full-blown failure to eject. KCI mags are trash, by the way. Glad I have a Glock one out here somewhere. Lock back on almost every round, even when it wasn't supposed to. Anyway, let's go check the results. Alright, so here's our group in no particular order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shots right there. Not bad at all, but that's our baseline. I'm going to take our Sharpie here, mark up our holes so we know which ones are which. Now, let's start testing it. Alright, so the first thing we're going to test is just what would be your routine maintenance. Field strip it, remove your slide, put your slide back on. Now, will that affect the zero? Let's see. Okay, so we're back at 15 yards. We did the field strip, reattached our upper. I have a actual Glock branded magazine now with our 115 grain ammunition, full metal jacket. Let's see if this affects our zero at all. That's why you get Glock mags, boys and girls. They're clear. Go check the results. And here's our results from just the field strip. No effect whatsoever on our zero. Not even sure where. Looks like we keyholed some of these. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. 4 and 5 are kind of in here. Anyway, pretty indicative that just a field strip doesn't really change anything on your zero. Okay, so we saw that a field strip didn't affect our zero whatsoever. But let's try something a little more egregious. Nothing in the mag, nothing in the weapon, we are clear. see how that affects zero. I'll show you kind of a close-up after throwing it, where it landed, handle, what have you. Did use the trashy mag in it, but I've got 5 rounds loaded up. Go ahead and check the muzzle, make sure we're good there. Dot is still on, which is good for the Cylee. Again, 15 yards, 115 grain. Let's see. See those results after throwing your pistol on the ground. These are our results. We're still inside our ring. No particular order. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're staying within the same group. Not bad. Well, there's only one more thing to test that I can think of. At least that was mentioned. I have a bag, I have a gun, there's a vehicle over there. So, let's go on a short little ride. There's our bag, there's our gun, here's our truck. Let's go down the road. See if we can knock this thing out of alignment, or if it's a myth. Okay, so we are back from our roughly 10-minute joyride with our bag gun. Dot's on. See how the accuracy is. All right, 5 rounds, 115 grain, 15 yards after our little joyride. Pretty rough on this thing today. See where our zero's at. And we have a double feed. Failure to eject. Cool. That's out of our Glock mag. Well, and in no particular order, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't know. But our zero never really changed, did it? Oh, well, what did we learn today? Apparently, whether you toss this thing over your shoulder, take a car ride, do a field strip in which you would have been involved in the process of cleaning it, putting it back on, our zero didn't really change at all, did it? I couldn't pick up any deviation whatsoever. That's cool. So I don't know what our commenter's issue really is with his 3 different optics of varying price point, and I don't know what those optics are, whether it's the Cylee that we were using today, whether it's the Trijicon or the Horosun. Those are 3 different manufacturers, 3 different brands. I mean, Trijicon was smack dab in the middle of the GWatt, so despite what you might think about what your feelings might be about them, they make a solid product that's been to war. Holosun, I don't know that they've been to war, but they've been making a lot of products that a lot of people have bought, and I'm sure that's, you know, like anything, you're going to experience some failures, but they make a pretty decent product. I have a couple of their optics, if I remember right. No issues with them. So I think mainly what the issue with our commenter is probably something in the effect of how they mounted it, what they mounted it to, and could be even how they shoot. Kind of an example is in mounting something, if you don't torque it right, that can be a problem. If you over torque it, that can be a problem. If you don't use the right size, right length screws, that can be a problem. If you tighten it too hard on one side before you tighten the other side, that can throw things out of whack. If you're using a mounting plate, well, that's another thing that can be out of whack in the whole process. I didn't experience any of that. You know, if you think of it this way, if you buy, say, a Glock 19, you take it, you shoot 3 different types of ammo, and no matter what you do, it's always shooting a little to the left. So you think, well, maybe I got a bad pistol. Okay. So you move on to a Smith & Wesson M&P 9 compact. Very similar to Glock 19, size, specs, all of that. Same thing. Same 3 ammunition, same result, always shooting to the left. You think, well, maybe, I don't know, let's try another pistol. 3rd pistol does the same. It's probably not the pistol or the ammunition, it's probably the user. Something's going on there, and you need to assess that. If you get into this cycle of, okay, I want to buy this entry-level product because I'm not 100% sold on a pistol red dot or a rifle red dot, or, you know, maybe you're just strapped for cash for the whole package, so you go in the budget market, and you end up with an optic that won't hold 0. For whatever reason, okay, now you've got some cash, you're going to move up to the mid-grade. Or maybe you go full on and you get the baddest one on the planet, and it won't hold 0 either. There's a bigger issue going on there, and I would try to figure out any issue I could, whether that means contacting the manufacturer, doing some sort of warranty process or a manufacturer assessment process, whatever that might be. I would try that before I start going from a $200 optic to a $500 optic to an $8,000 or $1,000, any of those things. It just doesn't make sense to try to buy your way out of some issue you're having. Now, if you use the product and it constantly turns off, or you've gone to the manufacturer, done the warranty claim, and you're still getting the same result, and the manufacturer says everything on our end looks good, have someone else try it. Have a buddy try it. Have, you know, someone else shoot it, try the issue. You know, if it's still not holding 0 for them, if they can't hit with it, maybe it's just a crappy product. But mainly, don't get into the process of trying to buy your way out of this issue. It could just be a minor thing of Loctite. It very well could be something very minor. But anyway, let's wrap it up there. I appreciate anyone who stuck through it this far. Probably like and subscribe if you already haven't. If you have some extra cash, go out and support your local gun clubs or gun organizations that are fighting to keep our Second Amendment, or not fighting to keep, fighting to expand our Second Amendment rights. Firearms Policy Coalition, Gun Owners of America, National Association for Gun Rights, anyone else I forgot except the NRA. Do not support the NRA. They kind of suck. But that being said, thanks for watching, guys, and stay toxic, America.